Thank you for joining me on my masterclass. Now, we saw in the stock market today, Nvidia, it went up, set a record high of about $141 per stock, and then it began to go down from there, and then it ended the market at about $130. So it lost $10, and I saw some of you panicked. Now, first and foremost, don't worry about that. You're going to get your money back, and you're going to get a profit. So the Nvidia is going to just bounce back. Don't worry about that. There's been a number of things that happened, in the market. The European markets, they reduced interest rate, the European Central Bank and the Bank of England, as well as the unemployment numbers in the United States were released, and it was a bit higher than expected. So these are shocks. The market is going to correct itself, but I want to explain something to you. You see, you don't have to have this cycle of up and downs in investing. What you have to do is you got to invest with wisdom. And one of the best ways that you can do that, and I said this yesterday, is that you don't want to just start a business, or you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. You want to buy little portions of successful businesses. That's what stock market investing is. And the best way to do that are with ETFs. Exchange traded funds, so mutual funds and ETFs, and then more so with ETFs, because ETFs, there is more, will I say, room for profit with ETFs. Now, basically, what they are is that these are funds where they just take money from different people, and then they have people who invest that money in different, stocks based on an index. So you're going to have a number of index. So first and foremost, you're going to have the S&P 500, which is an index of the 503 largest corporations in America. And so you're going to have an ETF that is tied to that index. So something like the Vanguard VOO, or the Vanguard VFIX, or the Vanguard VSMPX. But basically, for people who are watching, it's going to be easier for you to get into the Vanguard VOO. So they track the S&P 500. You also have other indexes. For instance, you've got the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which has 30 companies, and you've got indexes that are, ETFs that are tracked to that index. So for instance, you've got the iShares, and then you got the ProShares Ultra Dow 30. So both of these, the iShares US Dow Jones ETF and then the ProShares Ultra Dow 30, both of them are good ETFs. So you can actually buy into them. And so basically what they do is that they invest in the stocks that are listed on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. You also have the NASDAQ Composite. Now the NASDAQ Composite is a bit different. So it takes up all, because the NASDAQ itself is a market. And so you got the NASDAQ Composite. And so at the end of the day, at the close of market, they take the market prices, and then they have a divisor, which is secret to them. It's like the ingredient for Coca-Cola. They're not going to reveal it to anybody, so it's a secret to them. And then they use that to divide all of the sum total of all the stocks on the NASDAQ Composite Index. And then they got what they call an order of magnitude, and that's what they sell to these index companies. And so these index companies they now do the trades based on that order of magnitude. So the best one is going to be Fidelity NASDAQ Composite Index, and you can get that on the stock market. It's very easy. And then you also have the NASDAQ 100, which is different from the NASDAQ Composite. So the NASDAQ Composite is everything. You also have the NASDAQ 100. With NASDAQ 100 is just 100 of the best non-financial companies on the NASDAQ. And so with these companies, they invest, and then you have, the serious money being made. Now, if you look at the last 5 years, all of these indexes have made money seriously, except in the year 2022, and that was because of COVID. So these are reliable things to do. Now, what you have with ETFs is that when you invest with an ETF, these up and downs of the market, you're not going to feel it, because at any point in time, your money is spread so widely. So today, for instance, now we saw Sarepta went up, we saw Avis went up, we saw Paramount Global went up, and the number of other companies went up, and then we saw Nvidia go down. So if you are invested in like an ETF, like for example the Vanguard VOO, you're not going to be troubled, because I'll give you an example. The Vanguard VOO today is selling at $502 per stock. A week ago it was $499 per stock. 6 months ago, it was $430 per stock. Don't take my word for it. Fact check me. So you can see the reason why it's stable is because it is the spectrum is so broad, and it's not just that you can go with the Fidelity NASDAQ Composite Index ETF, or with any other ETF. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. Yeah, I've talked about the Magnificent Seven. Invest in all of them, but also have an ETF or a mutual fund that you invest in. And if you don't know how to do this, subscribe to me. I'm going to teach you how to do this. And subscribing is very easy. Search for me at Reno Omokri on X. On the top right hand corner of my profile, you're going to see a subscribe tab. Click on it, follow the prompts. This is Apostle of Prosperity.
But Reno travels all around the world. I hope you get inspired about what you see. Apostle of greatness, Reno is a master. Only one man against the whole world in large. Fighting with the monsters, poverty I can't stand. That's why Reno is